call this meeting. Okay. All right, first is roll call. Will we please go through and everybody say their name and their role?
I'm Barbara Vaughn, and I'm on the Human Rights Commission. Is that what role? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
that's fine. That's good.
Okay.
Okay. I'm Jane Frieda. I'm the chair of the Human Rights Commission. Janine, I'm just following my screen.
Janine Canadia, member of the Human Rights Commission.
Okay, Katie.
I am Katie Bell. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am not a member. I am a town employee for the youth services of Mansfield and a participant in.
Okay, thank you. And Micah, just give us your name.
I am Micah Human, he, him pronouns.
Okay, Micah is considering joining us. Okay, that's the roll call. May we have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting? From somebody, please.
I guess I'll make the motion.
Okay, Barbara moves. Anybody second?
I'll second.
Janine second. All in favor? Are there any
Aye.
corrections? No, okay, all in
I think
favor?
so.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The minutes are approved. Okay, we're moving down to all business and we have to skip affordable housing until Ray gets here because he's our affordable housing liaison and we don't know whether he's coming or not. Community conversations, I have some wonderful news for you. And this old and new business. I met with the new director of the library yesterday, whose name is Devin Andrews. And I told her she said, what's your vision for the Human Rights Commission? And I said, we want to have community conversations and we're stuck on finding rooms that are available and scheduling things. And she said, oh, I'm delighted to help you. What do you want to do? So I told her about the story hour and I told her about the interfaith panel discussion that we would like to have. She got back to me today with 2 dates for the interfaith panel discussion and asked for further conversations with Janine to schedule the story hour. So we've got 2 things going this spring. And now I have to connect with 3 clergy people or well-informed members of the 3 monotheistic religions and put together a panel. And Barbara, I know you have some friends and you had volunteered at some point to talk to somebody. So I want to talk to you and we need to put together a panel fairly quickly because it's going to be in April or May. And I need a well-informed Muslim person or an imam. I need a well-informed Jewish person or a rabbi, and I need a well-informed Christian person or a member of the Christian clergy. And that one is the easiest one because I have 2 people in mind already that I know would be good at it. And then we'll be needing a moderator, and one of those is also going to be a member of the clergy, I think. So that's my news about community conversations. And the other news is that I talked to Matt in the library, who runs the Friday afternoon film series. And I said to him, do you ever run any films about race? And he said, no, but we certainly could. And I said, good. So they have a license to show all kinds of movies. Then they've already paid for them. And the one I wanted, they can't pay for because it's by Netflix and they don't have a license with Netflix. But anyway, he referred me to their website and said, go through there, find movies that you would like us to show on subject of race or discrimination or anything else you're interested in. We will schedule them. We will have a conversation as we schedule them. So I think we've set up a film process that we're going to be able to sustain pretty well because he does all the technical stuff and the library does great publicity. So I think we're going to be good with that once we get it going and we'll get people talking to each other about various issues related to race. So I was very excited about that. Yeah, Katie, what?
Netflix can be tricky to get licensing from, but it is possible because they can approve you for community events that you're not charging money for, especially if it's through a library. So I can send you the links that I have to that because that's how we got the prom approved show this year at Pride because it's a Netflix original.
That would be wonderful because the movie I want to show, he is a Netflix movie and he didn't even think that there was any way to do it. So if we could do that, that would be wonderful. And that particular movie combines racism and homophobia. So that's of interest to all of us. It's an excellent movie.
Jane, can I ask the dates of the community? You said she came up with 2 dates.
Yep. Let me Okay, I have to find her note to me here, which I know is in here someplace. Tuesday, May 7th or Saturday, May 11th. Tuesday, May 7th is an evening time, and Saturday, May 11th would be an afternoon time. And I'm kind of hesitant to, I don't want to do Saturday because that's a Jewish Sabbath. So I think if we can get Tuesday, we should do that.
So this is the one you want to do the interfaith on
Yep.
May 7th?
Yep. So this lady is more than happy to help us with almost anything we can come up with. I was so excited to have a chance to talk to her. So we're making progress on the community conversations because of the support of this woman who loves to collaborate with people and has all kinds of resources. So I'm very excited about that. And then the Happy to Say Hello campaign, I have little display cards and I can't show you, I could show you one, but it'll come out backwards. Anyway, it's a little container that holds a couple of our brochures, and I have a couple hundred stickers, and I've distributed them to the Liberty Bank, the community center, not the community center, the senior center, and the library. I have to fill out a form before I can put them in the community center, but we're starting to distribute the Happy to Say Hello stickers. And I wrote a column for this month's town newsletter on the Happy to Say Hello campaign and why it mattered. So I think it's slow but steady, and I get very frustrated because I want everything to be fast, but I think we're starting to roll it out. And everybody I have mentioned that Happy to Say Hello idea has said that is a wonderful idea, which took me totally by surprise. Because when I first thought of it, I thought this is the hokiest thing you've ever thought of. But everybody I have talked to, most of whom come from the Midwest and moved here, said people here are rude. They don't say hello to you. And where I come from, everybody says hello to you. Southerners, Midwesterners, everybody else. So I think once we get it moving, people will pick up on it and maybe start saying hello to each other. If anybody wants to distribute stickers or these little display things and you have a place you want to put them, ask Margaret to give you a couple of the brochures and the stuff that goes with it, and she will give it to you, and then you can go take it wherever you want to take it. Oh, Barbara, I'm sorry. Barbara is busy on Hartford Symphony, May 7th and 11th, afternoon of May 11th. She did not offer that.
Okay. Are those the only dates we're looking at? We can't.
That was those are the dates that the Buchanan Auditorium is available.
I mean, I can still help put it together, but I won't be able to participate, which is not happy.
Not happy at all. Okay, well, I'll get back to her and I'll ask her. I have to follow up pretty quickly anyhow.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we are with Happy to Say Hello. Everybody I've talked to thinks it's a wonderful idea. Now we need to get stickers out. So I'm going to meet with the principal of the elementary school in a couple of weeks, and I will take the stuff to her to give to the little kids, and they love stickers. And I need to set up an appointment with the principal of the middle school to do the same thing. But I have basically distributed things to every place I can think of. So if you have other ideas of places where we can put out a few stickers and a little explanation that goes with it, and just let me know and we'll get stickers and we'll get explanations. Because I was surprised. The bank was very happy to have it. They have a little vestibule in Liberty Bank, and they're more than happy to have that out there. And people do take stuff off. They distribute all kinds of stuff off that little platform. Okay. Comments, thoughts? I have just told you everything I've been doing lately. What does everybody else have to say?
I'll go.
Yeah, Janine, you've been busy. What have you been doing?
Aside from making cookies for the NAACP, the Willimantic Romance Fest or whatever this weekend, I offer my baking and cooking services, so I help them out with that. However, I went to the MLK, went to the MLK birthday celebration at the church in Willimantic with my son Ravine, and it was very moving. It was awesome. There was, I didn't get her name, and I thought I got her name, but it's a name of another person. There was some political figure there, and she has, what's she doing? She was pushing with like special ed and services for special ed. She was pushing for services for people like with the problem that the Wyndham Hospital was going through, where supposedly illegally they were closing down or had closed down the maternity um uh
Yes,
clinic
that's been
facility
going on
there.
for- That's been going on
Um,
for a long time.
And she said that she knew about the Mansfield Human Rights Commission. I was trying to, wheedle my way up in there to see her. And this is where I'm like, oh man, I wish we had one of those business cards that Ray was talking about or something like that.
Oh, name tags, I completely forgot about 'em. We can get them.
Name tags are, I don't know, and this is probably where Margaret would know if we were allowed, if you have like a business card or something like that. I say, because Jane Freed is our chairperson. She's like, she wanted to make contact. So I'm trying to text someone from the group. Who was that person that we were speaking to? I also saw this, I met this woman.
Okay, Janine, you're doing, what I need you to do right now is to tell us, have you done anything with the story hour thing? Then we'll get back to all the
Oh,
other.
the story hour.
Yes.
That was the last part, was making contact with the librarian. And I sent you the email saying that in order to do that, you have to fill out a form, but they weren't doing anything for a while because they're in the process of renovating. If we were going to
Okay,
have a
that's
Helen
not
area.
true. I asked her about that. They only changed the door to the room.
Oh, wow. Well, they said it wasn't going to be
And I
available
knew that
for a
if I
while.
spoke to the underlings, I was going to get that same story. So I just talked to her and she said, of course you can use that room. You just go in another door.
Well, that's,
So if
and they
you
said
want-
just that you have to do a form on the email to
Here's what
request
I'd
a
like you
date.
to do. Please contact Devin, Devan Andrews, who is the new director. Tell her
Okay,
you're the person who's working on the story hour and ask her how you should proceed. She'll
Okay.
tell you and you'll get the form in the process.
all right. Do you
Okay.
want me to fill out the form, or do you want me to
Oh,
have you
you can
fill out
fill
the
out,
form?
sure. No, you go
Okay.
ahead.
All right, and then as soon as I make contact with her, then I will contact Carolyn Stearns. Because
Yeah,
at
'cause
first
what
we were
you have to
starting
do-
dates,
Is to coordinate the dates.
right? So I'll get what I did last time was kind of got both dates from each person, like who's open to what. The concern that I have about that is they have story hour on Saturdays at 10:30 at the library. That's usually an ongoing thing, their
It is,
story
right.
time. So how do we want to handle that? That was,
See if we can become one of their story hours.
okay.
Just merge right into their program and see what they're doing and see if there's room for us to do that. That would be the easiest thing to do.
Okay,
But Devin will be very supportive and I don't think you'll run into any roadblocks.
sounds good.
Thank you. Okay, so that's old business.
Great.
New business is membership. We have Debbie Paletto, the Reverend Debbie Paletto, who has applied for membership but hasn't been able to be interviewed because she's out of the country at the moment. So her appointment will be postponed another month. And today we have with us Micah. Micah, how do you pronounce your last name? You're muted.
Human, yep, just like human being.
Well, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to assume. Okay,
That's
so
okay.
Micah expressed interest and Micah has been very active with PFLAG. So would you just tell us if what about the Human Rights Commission appeals to you and would you be interested in participating?
Yeah, I'll keep this as short as I can. So I'll go way back. So I come from Holocaust survivors and my dad was a social justice activist when he was throughout his career, marching with Martin Luther King Jr. And he raised me to look at injustice, right? So that quote of Martin Luther King Jr., right? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And that's how I've grown up and that's how I've mimicked my life. I've done research on racial microaggressions at UConn throughout the campuses. And that's now gone into where we've actually have a 1 credit course that's going to be required of all incoming students that will be looking at Yeah, that have to do an anti-racism black course, which is going to be fantastic. And I've just dedicated my life. So Human Rights Commission, my dad always believed in giving back. He was on the Housing Commission back in Champaign-Urbana. He was a landscape architect, or sorry, urban and regional planning architect, and really believed in giving back to the community. And so it's something that all my family participate in doing. And now that I've gotten established here in Connecticut, I'm almost done with my doctorate. I'm looking to continue to give back to my community, and Human Rights Commission is most in line with what I do. Yeah, I can actually put on here the website that we created with the microaggression research. Let me just grab that real quick.
Thank you.
And this was done with a group of people. Obviously, it wasn't just me alone, but I was the one that facilitated it and brought it here to everybody. So I sent it just to you privately, but if anyone else wants to see it, I'm happy to share our website. On the website, you can click to the PDF, so I can send this to everyone as well on here, just so everyone can see it. And yeah, I mean, and the other big thing, so me being in, I'm involved with, it's mostly my spouse is involved with PFLAG, but I definitely help out a lot. And I've done a lot around trans care, and my older child, who actively lets me and supports me saying this, he identifies as transgender and has been out since he was 7 years old, and he's an activist himself. He goes to companies around the country pushing for more gender inclusive policies in the different agencies. He's been to worked with Nike, Uber, General Mills, list goes on and on with top corporations that he's been to and into it. So he goes there and actually talks to them and speaks to them to help them be a part of the Gender Cool Champions, which are an incredible group of youth that are trying to recreate the way we're talking, our conversation around trans youth. So it's not about what they are, but who they are. And kind of saying that trans identity is just one small facet that makes them these awesome, complex, amazing human beings. So he's now at UConn himself. He's considering applying to the Human Rights Commission as well. He's studying human rights and women, gender, and sexuality studies as his 2 majors with the communication and sociology minors. But him and I have both done a lot of work, and my spouse too. We were featured in the Frontline documentary, Growing Up Trans, back many years ago when he first came out. And it's just kind of taken off from there, that we're just trying to show people that when you just support a child, it's amazing what they can be, and all he wants to do is just exist as his authentic self. And so really promoting that. So again, most of my expertise is in racial microaggressions, but I do a lot of work around gender as well too, and looking at that. But yeah, and now I'm director of the Office of Undergraduate Research at University of Connecticut. And this is my home in Mansfield. I came from Illinois, lived in Northern California before that for a period of time, where I got my master's in psychology. But this is our favorite place we've ever lived and ever traveled to. And we feel like it's such a privilege to be here and be in a home that's built in 1800. So I want to give back. So that's it. I won't say anything else, but if you have questions, I'm happy to answer.
Micah, that was an incredible amount of information, and microaggressions is one of the biggest problems at UConn because we're all so well-intentioned and ignorant.
Yep.
And if we could have a community conversation on microaggressions and what does that mean for white people, I would be thrilled. So after your name is Doctor, we'll talk about that. Okay.
Sounds good.
Does anybody have any questions for Micah? Okay, let me tell you what the process is. I will write a note. Is there anybody? Do I have to take a vote, Monica? No. Okay. I'm going to write a note to Sarah Ann, who's the town clerk, and I'm going to recommend that you be interviewed by the Committee on Committees, and that this commission would be very happy to have you as a member. And then when they get around to it, which will probably be April, you will then be appointed. And I thank you very much for your interest, your commitment, and wow, your motivation. I think that's the best part.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks a million. Okay, moving right along. Pride Month. Katie, what can you tell us about what's going to happen at Pride Month?
So right now the big event for Celebrate Pride, we are all set with the Downtown Partnership, June 7th, which is the first Friday. So that way it doesn't interfere with any of the graduations or anything like that, or the other happenings in Connecticut and around. So we will be doing a similar format event as the past 2 years, where we'll have, we do have confirmed our drag queen performer will be back with us again. Mucha is amazing. We love them so much. So they'll be back to do drag queen story time. Who gets to have a clinical psychologist who's also a drag queen come and perform amazing work. I love it. UConn alum, like it's beautiful. It's perfect. So we'll be doing that same format. Event starts at 7 with local resource tables. I'll be reaching out to those folks again, probably in the next week or two, to get everything situated with that. Drag queen story time will start 8 o'clock and go until about 8:30 or so, when it is dark enough to start showing the movie. And then we'll be showing Netflix's The Prom. So we'll be working with our My Pride group to see if they have any new changes to the playlist from the past 2 years, or if there's any other props and ideas that they want to bring into the event. Right now, our biggest ask that they would like to see is if we can do a closet motif for a photo where people can be coming out and have all rainbows in the background. So we're also reaching out to some of our connections that we have at the Coventry GSA to see if those folks have any interest in helping to build whatever that prop might look like, if they might be a little more skilled in carpentry and resources than our gaggle of middle schoolers, who are very skilled in being silly and wonderful, and we love them. But we're still working on getting those designs for pronoun pins. But other than that, it'll be a pretty similar experience from the past 2 years. We have confirmed with the community center that they're willing to be our backup rain location, so we don't need to worry about having too many different days, too many different plans, and just hoping to see it kind of keep going and being as great as it has been in the past few years. And year number 3, here we go.
It sounds wonderful. Now, in the past, what the Human Rights Commission has done has been to issue a proclamation in support of Pride Month and all that. And I haven't looked at it lately, but if I remember correctly, it's pretty generic and says, yes, we think this is all a wonderful idea. So I think what I need to do is to get a hold of it, distribute it to everybody, make sure we would all like to say that again, or if we'd like to make some modifications, we will. And Katie, I appreciate your input if you have any suggestions for change, and then
Yeah.
we'll issue it next month.
I think last year, the only adjustments that we had made from the previous year was making sure that the acronym included the 2S, just because that had come from specifically some of the collaboration meetings that I'm with some of the tribal leaders who wanted to make sure that that was included in the acronyms that we're using. At this point, from last year to this year, I don't have anything major that I can think of to add to it, but I do have I believe the most recent copy that I can send to you tomorrow, Jane, just so it's easier for you to send out to folks.
That's great,
when
and
I
I'll
send
just
you the
circulate
Netflix
it to
info.
everybody. Good, okay, thank
And I'm
you.
ordering flags soon, because we need, another 1,000 flags, because that's what we do every year. So we just put more flags into the community, and the more people see them, the more welcome they know they are here.
Wonderful. Any other comments on that subject? Pride celebration. Micah, this is an area for you. You got anything else you want to say about it?
No, I mean, I'm just interested to see how it plays out this year, and then support any way I can. So making sure we, share it with PFLAG, and obviously share it with the Rainbow Center too. So, and I'll share it with my son. He'll share it with all of his friends too as well. So anything I can do to support, please let me know.
Hey, thank you very much. Moving right along. This next one isn't so
Yeah.
easy. I have been, oh, Monica, what?
Right, just so we'll keep it on our agenda and hopefully get it approved, because we're gonna want it to be there for probably the April meeting, the last April meeting, so that they can approve it. Maybe the first May one, but I think we need to make sure that we're ready to have it approved in April. Just wanted
Okay.
to make sure everyone has that on their radar when they're looking at it. and
So
reviewing
you will
it.
get, so Katie is going to send me last year's version, and I'm going to circulate it, and we're going to see if we need to make any modifications. Then we will vote on it next time and send it to the town council.
Yes, very good.
Good. Now, Juneteenth is much more of a difficulty for me, because we can do a Juneteenth proclamation, but I've been very concerned that Mansfield doesn't do anything about Juneteenth, except have a proclamation. And I'm struggling with that because the NAACP does plenty of stuff for Juneteenth. Code in Hebron has a whole festival for Juneteenth, and we haven't done anything. And I would like to hear from people we have limited resources and limited people power. And we can always say things, and we can write letters to the editor, and we can do a few things like that. But what is everybody's feeling about, should we try to do some more of a celebration or an acknowledgement, or anything like that? What comes to mind?
Hmm.
And I am going to discuss this with the two principals, because I know there's going to be focus on Juneteenth in the public schools, but Juneteenth happens after school is over. So it would be in the curriculum prior to the end of school, and it wouldn't probably be much of a public event.
Jane, when I was still at Goodwin, the last principal, Lauren Rodriguez, and we were talking about that. And what she was thinking was talking with the students and the teachers, kind of like talking with them about what did it mean? Do they know anything about emancipation, especially older group? Not to totally disregard the younger groups, but she wanted to, start incorporating that, maybe have the teachers, with the books, the little story time or something like that to go in there. And then somehow, and I wasn't understanding what she wanted to do this, she wanted to do like a little survey towards the end to see how much the kids have learned or grown in regards to learning about Juneteenth. I was all for, find the stories, find the books, have something incorporated with the art class if they possibly can. And that has to be done relatively soon because they develop their curriculum.
Right.
But she was saying not that the younger kids wouldn't understand, but she wanted to target more of the fourth grade students, maybe even from like second, third, and fourth of those individuals. But that's as far as we got.
Or is she just going to have little readings? What I'm thinking about is there any way that we can produce anything that's public that we sponsor that says Juneteenth is a very important day?
Mhm.
And we ought to recognize that, and it's important to everybody.
That's what I was pushing for.
Yeah.
Stop, it's great with story hours. I mean, yes, the teachers would have to play a crucial part. I don't know what their curriculum is anymore. I don't know what they're doing about it. That would be like, speaking with the, what's her name? Katie. Katie is the at MES, and Larry is at MMS. Those are the two principals.
That's her name.
Kate McCoy.
Speaking with them and how far, what are they going to be doing and how can we help?
That's okay. That's my approach, but I'm thinking a little bit more than that. Michael, would you like to say something?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, so the UCB, the staff union that's in downtown stores, they actually have an event for Juneteenth each year where they get in, they supply local Black owned food that comes in and serves the union. But I'm wondering if we couldn't partner up with them, at least have a table there to show our representation. That, because you're saying we don't have a lot of people power or money, but maybe if we partner with UCP a little bit, they're already setting it up that we can just have a table or something.
Whoa, I didn't realize they did that. Where do they do that?
They do it right in front of their UCP office, which is, where UCP office is in Store Center?
On 195?
I mean, it's off of 195. Their office is down by the new pizza place, whatever it's Square Peg. They're kind of a little bit further down from Square Peg. And so they have a little parking lot. And so they open up their whole place and they have the parking lot, with food out there, and they welcome people in. So, and they don't always do it necessarily on Juneteenth because we have that day off now. So they don't do it on that day, but they do it as close to that day as possible. And it's usually during like.
I need to clarify something. I think of UCP as on 195, but I'm thinking of AAUP. UCP is in that little building right across the street next to the garage.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Okay, all right, I got it. That would be easy. Okay, good idea. Because I think our biggest strength is going to be in partnering and co-sponsoring and maybe providing information and doing more stuff with, this is about human rights. Here are the relevant human rights, and here is why this relates to that. And we can get some posters or some other things. And,
That's what I was just thinking, the kids like, especially like MMS, maybe yes, incorporate the fourth grade, but have the MMS if they can incorporate some of their ideas for poster.
yeah, I've talked to, I don't remember who I talked to about posters because I talked to Margaret because those posters they did a couple of years ago in conjunction with the Witness Stone project were wonderful, and we could use some new ones.
Yeah.
And that is only going to come out of the public school. So when I meet with Katie, I'll discuss that with her. When I meet with the other guy in the middle school, I will discuss it with him and see where we can go with it and see if they can get some students to produce something.
And I remember speaking with Mr. Rock, I believe is the art teacher over at MMS. And he liked the idea, but it was just too late for us to, it was too late in the game to have some students do something, but I think he would be open to the idea.
Okay. I will follow up on that. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. I feel better about that now. There's also a woman that made a presentation to the diversity team that Superintendent Dart convenes last time, and she's an African-American woman who is either in the middle of or has just finished her doctorate, and she's doing some fascinating stuff with educating kids how to think. And she just happens to be Black, but I don't think her focus is on Black kids. I think her focus is on kids. But she might be a good resource because she's very good at helping people understand what matters and then talking about it. And she's teaching a philosophy course to fourth graders, which really impressed me. And she's got a great presence. So I'll try to get a hold of her and see what she thinks too. Okay, anything else about that? Meeting schedule. Monica, what is the issue with the meeting schedule?
So after having reviewed everything, I realized that our October meeting is October 2nd, which is Rosh Hashanah. So we wanted to see if we can change that date.
Please. It would not be cool to have a meeting on Rosh Hashanah.
Right,
So would you suggest the next Wednesday of that month, the second Wednesday, just for 1 month?
that would be the 9th of October.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that's fine for me. I don't know if that's fine for everybody else. It's the second Wednesday of the month. We'll just need, I'll need Sabrina to also vote so that I can make sure we will have to vote on it and then.
Okay, can I have a motion to change the October 2024 meeting from October 2nd to October 9th, please? Will somebody please move that?
I'll make that motion.
Barbara, somebody second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Sabrina, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anybody? No, okay, the decision is made. Thank you very much. Okay, now we get down to our free-for-all, where everybody says what they've been doing. So Janine, why don't you pick up where you left off and tell people what else you've been doing?
Sorry about that.
Wait a minute, no, there's one other thing that's not on the agenda, but I need to mention. Monica, please give me some guidance. The Sustainable Connecticut document that you sent me. We need to take action or respond to some things in there, and I read it. And we have written a sustainability equity statement that disappeared in the bowels of town government.
Yes. So I talked with Ginny about that. Do you want to, I was going to save that for member reports and talk about it there. But do
Right.
you want to, we can have a motion to add it to the agenda and just add it and talk about it freely.
Okay.
It's up to you.
I would like to move that we add the sustainability document to the agenda now, and we'll include it in member reports. Do we need a vote? Okay, in favor of, everybody in favor of adding that, please say aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. All right, now Janine, back to you. Member reports.
yeah, I said I went to the MLK celebration, and the name of the representative that was there was Susan Johnson, I believe.
Oh, yeah, she's the state rep from Willimantic. She's great.
Yes,
She
she
shows
was
up at
there.
everything.
And she said she would, like to be able to speak with us or whatever. So if you wanted to send her, shoot her an email or something like that, welcome her to come on. and speak.
Parenthetically, we have been trying to do this for years and all of a sudden she just decided she wanted to do it. So I'm really pleased. I will get in
Yes,
touch.
of
I even
course,
have her
because
phone number.
she was it was all about MLK, but she added her little pitch in there. So I was just like, all
Her
right, let me
big
go.
deal is affordable housing, especially for
Yes.
people who are addicted to things.
Yes.
And she's been working on that for 20 years. So I will be in touch with her and I will get her on the agenda for next time.
And the other thing that I met with, there was a young person there, and her name is, let me put that up. This was an interesting website that she has, and that is, her name is Stephanie Birch, Birch,
Mhm.
and she has this webpage, and it's called Rad Little Library. Some downtown. And it's all about Willimantic and the little historical sites and racial injustice and everything. And it really is an interesting site to go on. And it has a lot of information. She was talking about, how she developed the site. And there was a lot of fascinating information about the different historic sites in Willimantic. And like, well, if you have something that you are interested in, I'm like, I'm just we can't do anything. The Human Rights Commission really can't do anything like that because we are tied to the town. I said, but it would be, I think everyone should be able to look at it, pull it up, Rad Little Library. It's her own little thing, and you can go and you just click on. It's very user friendly. You click on, and it's so many fascinating stories that you didn't know existed. And if we had ideas or something, maybe she can work on that. It was just, she was a very interesting character to talk with.
Do you have
Um,
the address for that website?
I'm sorry.
You have the address?
It's, you just type in Rad Little Library. I'll
Okay.
try to type it up here.
Okay, so people take a look at that. All right, anybody else? Yes, Katie, go ahead.
I'll just give a quick update from Youth Services and Human Services. Our biggest news is that our Director of Human Services is moving on to a different position, going back to her hometown of Summers and going to be doing some school social work there. So as of yesterday, that vacancy is officially posted on the town website. So if anybody here is an LMSW or an LCSW or an LCISW or knows any of those social workers who are interested in doing that administrative work for the Human Services Department, we are officially looking. Please, 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 and please.
Thank you. Other member reports, anything that anybody's been doing? Barbara?
Well, the day after our last meeting was that Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on affordable housing, or not on affordable housing, on things that were going to be put up in Mansfield. And I went to that mostly to find out what was being done about affordable housing. You went to that too, right,
Yes,
James?
I did.
So evidently there is some plan for it, but the town can also, the housing complex can also just pay a fee in lieu of putting affordable units into the
That's what they're
town,
doing. That's what they're doing.
which is, I think, what they're doing.
Yes.
And what
They're-
happens? So then does the town use that money to subsidize? How does that work?
It's exactly what they do with it.
Yeah.
They get the money from the builders to buy them out of their obligation to do affordable housing. Then the town designates some affordable housing units and subsidizes the rent with the, what do you call it? You know, the fund that they have created. And the last time I talked to anybody, they had something like $5 million in the fund, and it wouldn't begin to be appropriate. There are a lot of people who are very upset with the way construction is going around here.
mhm.
And the thing I remember from that meeting, it was really a fascinating meeting because there were several architects in the group commenting on what these new private construction apartment complexes look like. And this one guy who was really into ecology and community and building places where people have to come out the front door and talk to each other and that sort of thing. And he said, I take one look at that, and he was talking about the unit on 195, and I forget the name of it, but it's, you know, going down, excuse me, not on one, yeah, 195, that monster thing. And he said, it's not a place. And I thought, what do you mean it's not a place? He said, that is not a location that you would go to and have any feeling about being in a place. It's just a bunch of boxes on top of each other that people live in as they're passing through. And I thought, he just summed up the whole thing. These things look like they're not designated as student dormitories, but that's what they're going to be.
That's what they're going to be. So is there a way that we as a commission could ask the town to do something? If I don't know how to phrase this. My brain is all dead. I'm sorry. I got back from Egypt last night and I'm just totally out of it.
You're doing amazingly well. The answer to your question is sort of. Because the town is very aware of it, but there are very severe limitations on what the town can do vis-a-vis private developers. When a private developer follows all of the rules for zoning and construction and all that stuff, all we can do is make sure they're still following the rules for zoning and construction. We cannot do anything. We have no control over them. And the thing that fascinates me and makes me wonder is we have a limited number of people in this town. And if students move into those places that aren't places, we're going to have a lot of empty residence halls with mortgages that people can't meet the payments on. And I know that as a housing administrator. If not, I don't know who's going to live in those houses. And if they're so expensive, as the Commission on Aging says it is, it says that it's impossible for people on fixed incomes to live in Mansfield anymore. I don't know who's going to live there, but I also know that people who build that level of construction don't do it if they don't think they're going to make money. So there's some big mystery behind all this, and we will only know when it looks like it's habitable and people move in.
There are things that the town could do, though. I mean, the way the zoning is right now, like when my mother-in-law moved in with us, we would have loved to put a granny pod. You know what I'm talking about? One of those tiny homes. Absolutely impossible in this town to do something like that. And there should be some kind of way to change maybe some of the zoning regulations. Like we could put a group of tiny homes for people that would be affordable. You know,
Yeah,
something-
there is a commission, there's a committee that has teeth, real teeth, that is working on that. And the head of the downtown partnership, I think, is on that committee. So if you want to dig around and find out the name of the committee, does anybody know, Monica, what's the name of that committee?
I'm sorry, which one was that?
The housing committee that is.
The Affordable Housing Committee or the Fair Rent Commission? There are
Either
two.
one.
Okay.
There's an Affordable Housing Committee and there's a Fair Rent Commission, and either one of those would be worth talking to and finding out. I know they're working on zoning laws, but that's very complicated too. Once I started to try to understand it, I gave up because I couldn't understand it. So good luck to you, and get a few nights sleep before you try. Go ahead.
I also know that Debbie, our hopefully newest member, is also on the Affordable Housing Commission, or the Affordable Housing Committee. So that'll also be a good in. We'll be able to have that, as well as Ray, who is our liaison there. And the Fair Rent Commission is almost up and running, so that'll hopefully be pretty good soon.
Yeah, the Fair Rights Rent Commission, from what I understand, is a complaint department. It's an effort to help people get fair rent when they don't feel like they have it. And that's a different kind of commission. Okay, so I mean, housing continues to be a problem in this town. There's no question about it, and it's incredibly complicated. Other member reports. All right, the HRC equity. I think we're gonna have to do this next time. I will circulate this, or Monica, would you circulate that equity statement to everybody, and we'll put that on the agenda for next time, because it is my impression that we have submitted an equity statement, and there are several things that the town has asked us if we'd be willing to do that are quite doable, and one of them is community conversations.
So, real quick on that, I do have an update on that too.
Okay.
I did talk with Ginny, who is the one who sent out that. She's like our connection to Sustainable CT. And our equity statement, she said we should probably ask the equity coach first and talk with them. And Dorothy has said that would be great, and she's willing to talk with us about that statement. So I'll grab that probably tomorrow and give that to you, get Dorothy's email, and then we can all get connected before we
Okay.
bring it to Ryan again.
Right, and then we'll all go over everything that's in there and see what it is that we can produce for the town, because there are some things in there that are definitely within our domain. Some of them are a little bit beyond, but several of them are doable.
The other thing, I know Janine, you did the training, that 3-part training. There is another one coming out. I think it starts later this month. It's gonna probably be, I think it's similar to what you just did or the same, but we do need more people to attend that. So I will.
Do you have the dates? And do you have to go someplace, or is it virtual?
I think it's virtual. It's been virtual for the last.
Yeah, that's what it was the last time. It was all, if you
Yeah.
have info, send it to me. I'd be love to do that.
Yeah,
And if I can manage it, I will try to do it. I would like to do that too.
I will have to circulate them to you because it's not as easily as accessible on their webpage as it was through another portal I was in, so.
Wonderful.
Monica, would those be the same ones we did like way back in the day? Okay.
Yeah, the thing that we're going to have probably a harder time with is that a director has to also go to it, and so does a elected member. In order for us to get credit for it.
Yeah,
But
I read.
so it's worthwhile for us to go, for sure. I thought it was great. Katie, I think.
And I think, potentially Devin over at the library might be a department head who would have a lot of interest in
Bet
that.
she would.
When she and I met with Allison before Allison's decision to leave. We were talking about a lot of ways to build sustainability and equity and kind of some partnerships there. So I think she would be a really good
Yeah,
person.
definitely ask
that.
Devin and see if she'd be interested. I bet she would. All right. Are there any other comments that anybody would like to make? I have a lot of stuff to follow up on, and I will follow up with individuals to ask people to do things or to get more information about stuff. And we will meet again next month, hopefully with a couple of programs scheduled and some other ideas in the works. Other comments? Okay. The students, do all the students want to talk to me, or just one person?
I just had a question to ask Katie, actually.
Do it yet. You can't do that yet. We have to do that after the meeting. Okay, so Katie, stay on. Sophia, stay on. I'll stay on. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
I'll make that motion.
Janine, thank you
I'll
very
second.
much, everybody. And Mike, I hope to see you again soon. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.